So hey guys, it's Tamara coming back at you with another video. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to talk this week about histrionic and dependent personality. So this is going to be the final video to our discussion on pathological lying, and I think it's proper and in place just for the simple fact that individuals with histrionic traits and dependent traits tend to also engage in pathological lying, but they do it for two different reasons. So I'm going to outline that for you. So the benefits for you in this video today is going to be that you're going to be able to define what histrionic and dependent personality disorder is. I have previously talked about avoidant personality disorder, and I will link that article down in the description box for you, but I'm not going to mention that here just for the simple fact that I think it's irrelevant. But we are going to go ahead and talk about histrionic and dependent personality. So let me go ahead and start with dependent personality, okay? Dependent personality disorder is basically this. So you have an individual who probably grew up in a very emotionally detached and unavailable household. You probably will run into a person with dependent personality disorder who has engaged in a lot of substance abuse, who has engaged in a lot of risky behaviors such as cutting or suicide attempts or suicide threats. A dependent personality might also have been raised in a house with a lot of disruption, a lot of chaos, a lot of drug abuse, a lot of parties, a lot of inappropriate visitors to the home. Maybe a child who has really struggled with an outgoing, histrionic kind of a parent. The dependent personality is typically very passive. Sometimes they can be passive aggressive, but for the most part, they're passive. You know, they are afraid to let their voice be heard. They're afraid to make decisions. They're afraid to, be accountable, I should say. These particular individuals tend to come across as very shy, but they're not necessarily shy as much as they are dependent. They depend on other people to speak for them, to make decisions for them, to draw conclusions for them. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of being disliked and unloved. So you might get a spouse who has dependent personality disorder, and you might feel as if this individual cannot make a decision on their own, that they are extraordinarily confused, and kind of plays up to that by relying on you to make the decisions. I'm sorry guys, that's my camera again. I apologize for that noise in the background. But the dependent personality really does have a hard time making decisions, drawing conclusions, and they experience a lot of anxiety as a result. Okay, so that's the dependent personality. The histrionic personality is somebody who's very outgoing, they're extroverted, they're loud, they have very impulsive behaviors. They constantly walk around with a trigger button, which is basically if you say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, they're going to blow up. So they're going to go from 1 to 100. These kind of individuals like to argue. They like to raise their voice. They're very loud. They're very boisterous. They're very flamboyant, right? They might wear bright and light colors. They might over-exaggerate what they're talking about and make their words really like major, and they might draw their words out, and like they're just, they're very, very unstable in how they relate to the world, in the sense that everything is 100 as far as a rating scale, right? So on a scale from, oh my God, I'm just ruining everything here. I'm sorry. I got distracted for a second. I just got done with a client who likes to play with chalk. So yeah, I have chalk everywhere now. So so the histrionic personality is kind of like I am right now, very inattentive. They have a hard time kind of keeping track of where they should be and where they should not be. It's just a very unstable personality. They might even cry really theatrically. They don't have the ability to self-monitor and self-regulate. So both of those individuals can engage in pathological lying, but for different reasons. The dependent personality can engage in pathological lying to avoid having to make decisions and to avoid rejection and to avoid getting in trouble or to avoid responsibility. The histrionic personality may engage in pathological lying because they exaggerate everything. Everything is major. Everything is huge. Everything is just like, whoa, way out there. So their lying might be theatrical. It might be calculating. It might be manipulative. The dependent personality could also be manipulative and calculating because they don't want to experience the anxiety that occurs when they are feeling abandoned or unloved. So those are two things to keep in mind. If you guys have had experience with either one of these personalities, I encourage you to paste your experience down in the comments section below, or post it, I should say. I encourage you guys to give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful to you. That pushes the video to the top of the search results so that other people can have access to it. You guys are doing awesome, by the way. I so appreciate your comments and your questions. I definitely want to give a shout out to Kylie out there. And my other major fan that posts questions all the time, Philippe, thank you very much. And then there's one other person, and I am so sorry I'm forgetting that person's screen name. Oof, I hate that. This is what happens when you're over the age of 30. Your memory goes. I can't remember, but I will post it down in the comment section below. I'm going to give you guys a shout out because you guys have awesome comments. I appreciate your encouragement. For those of you guys who contact me on my website, or you guys go on my blog and comment, thank you also. You guys are awesome. So I'm going to be back next week with a new video. We're going to talk about things that you should be aware of when you're dealing with a therapist. What's unethical? What's ethical? We're also going to talk about some of the questions you should ask your therapist at the beginning, the middle, and the end of therapy. So we're going to get into that next week. All right, guys, thanks so much. I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.